Welcome to Secular Soup. Stay tuned for real talk about atheism, feminism, politics, parenting, and whatever the fuck else Amy and Amy want to talk about, because this is their show. And get ready for a whole lot of motherfucking profanity.
You want to hear a secret?
I won't tell anybody. Go ahead.
If I sit next to you, I'm going to get gonorrhea. It's going to jump into me. Just two ladies hanging out.
Is it okay for me to make fun of his neck waddle if I make fun of my own neck waddle?
I'm not sure.
That's a real ethical conundrum.
Would you know if you were born a lizard person, or can you be like adopted into the...
I think you know.
We're such professionals.
We really are.
Buckle up, bitches. It's time to have some soup.
I'm Amy with a Y.
And I'm Amy with an I.
And we are just two blueberries floating in a bowl of tomato soup. And joining us tonight are...
I'm Rich Lyons.
I'm Deanna Joy Lyons.
Come laugh with me.
As you can tell, we have two very special guests tonight. We're doing yet another crossover episode in the tradition of the one we did last week with the Dumb All Over podcast. Right. This week, we have a huge treat. It is the Living After Faith podcast with Rich Lyons, our wonderful editor, and his wonderful wife, Deanna Joy Lyons, who is also the voice of our intro.
Yeah, we got her to say some foul stuff.
Oh, I loved
that
it.
Wonderful, sultry voice. And
pretty awesome.
Yeah, we love it. So we're just... As usual, Amy and I are not prepared at all. We just have Rich and Deanna here, and we were just going to have a chat with them. I did want to mention that Rich especially has a fascinating backstory with religion and how he came out of religion. And you can hear all about it if you go over to the Living After Faith podcast. It's one of the more recent episodes, I think. But I don't want to make him get into that whole backstory here because it's easily accessible on another episode and it's worth a listen on its own. So yeah, we're just kind of here hanging out, chatting, and I don't know, Rich, Deanna, what do you guys have to say for yourselves? Who are you, and why are you on this podcast?
Why are you still sticking around after 27
Why are you
episodes?
talking to us?
I know it's kind of a long roundabout story, the way that Rich and I hooked up with people like you, but well, Rich wanted to tell his story. Way back in the days when we first started, he was just talking by himself in the corner of our little apartment. And I was the tech nerd who sort of helped set everything up because I understand internet things and he's a little bit old. So
I don't understand the interweb.
So anyways, what I ended up doing is I joined him on the show after about like the fourth episode on episode 4. Yep, and that was titled Too Fucked Up to Fuck, because there were sexual issues coming out of the religion. After that, we just found a lot of love. Everybody thought it was a great show, that we had good conversations. So we kept doing it. We started talking to other people. And what did we do it for, like a few years?
Yeah, we started in 2010. We were pretty consistent into 2013, and then Podfade happened, and we released 2 episodes over the last 5 years. 3 episodes, and then...
Yeah, I just learned the term Podfade like 2 weeks ago. I didn't even know that was a thing.
We did.
Yeah, for listeners, Podfade is kind of when you have a podcast going along and you're putting out regular episodes and then you just kind of fade away and no one's really sure if you're coming back or not. And we are so happy that you guys came back from the fade because your show was actually one of the first ones that I listened to when I started listening to podcasts in general and about atheism. And I just always loved, you just both have such calming, friendly voices. Like I just, you feel like you're just having or listening in on a conversation with just friends, who, I don't know. I always learned so much listening, and I'm so glad it's back on the air now.
Well, thank you very much. One of the reasons that we podfaded, and I guess that's a decent thing to talk about today, was because of at the time, the current state of the atheist movement. We really became disenfranchised by so much of the stuff that was going on. For instance, we have a dilemma that we're dealing with now in that we have 3 episodes in our library, one with Michael Shermer and one with David Silverman. And we haven't decided, are we going to take these out of our library? Does that damage our, is our library, somehow deficient if we take those out? Or, so we're going to pose that question. You guys get more feedback than we do. So maybe we can pose that as a question that you guys could get some emails back, and maybe we could get some comments on our Facebook.
Oh, we barely get feedback. So.
We just ask for dick pics. That's pretty much what we ask for.
Yeah, and that won't help solve your problem at all. So
it solves some problems and it creates others, just like most.
Well, the nice thing about only requesting dick pics is that people are going to send you dick pics anyways, so you're all set.
They just don't. I have been incredibly disappointed in the lack of dick pics I've gotten since joining all the dating sites.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. You need dick pics for funny stories.
Thank you.
Yeah, we need more fodder.
Oh, I have more, but we'll put a pin in that. We can talk about it at any time.
That'll be its own episode.
I am sure.
Oh,
while we're talking about podcasts, I would like to give Secular Soup a special shout out. I love you guys. Back when I was just kind of feeling the waters and seeing if I really wanted to get back into podcasting, I was asking for help on, several podcast sites saying, hey, anybody got anything I can cut up? Anybody got something I can work with? And Amy with a Y reached out to me, and
we need a lot of editing.
Yeah, we'll take all the help we can get.
Well, but it's great one thing I've really discovered, you guys have great chemistry together. You talk well, and I love to listen to the show. And
we don't even like each other. It's
all an act.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're really good at pretending to be friends.
Yeah.
And then you should just see us normally.
She called me a bitch so many times today over text.
Oh, wow.
Just today.
Wait,
I know.
How many? What? You called me other names too.
To be fair, you deserved it though.
To be fair, I usually do.
That's true. Yeah. No, the funny thing is we, kind of hooked up the same way for this podcast where we knew each other online. And
you
kind of decided,
a bad podcaster too. I'm looking at it.
Well, you are a bad podcaster, so. But yeah, we only knew each other from online. We have never met in person. This is all phone calls and audio, and it's like we hit on magic on the first try. It's amazing. But no, your support, Rich and Deanna, both of you, has been amazing because you've been such just a cheerleader and given us such good feedback and helped us with, not just the audio, but
that first time we had that first episode and we were like, here you go. And then we were both like nervous. And then you were like, it was so good. We listened to it and it was so funny and we liked it. And Amy and I were messaging and talking to one another. We were like, they really liked it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we were just going, oh my God.
They seriously,
because you guys, people know who you are too, and you're kind of established in the podcasting world. And we're like, somebody who does this actually likes it, what we do. Oh my God, we were so excited.
You're like, this is just basically our phone conversation with our audio recording. That's just basically it.
I always enjoy it.
I mean, we're amped up a little bit, and I'm drunk, typically. I'm not right now. But that's pretty much it. This is just us.
This is just who we are. Yeah. I loved that Deanna was willing to do that intro for us. Yes. Every time I hear Deanna's voice, I associate your voice with just calmness and kindness. And it's
buckle up, bitches.
Smooth. And hearing you say that stuff just makes me giggle every time.
I'm so glad to hear that because I have a serious anxiety disorder. And so I never would have thought that I would come across as being calm and measured and cool.
Oh, you do?
I must be a good actress. I don't know.
Yeah. Welcome to the club, man.
Right now, literally, I am just screaming. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, no. No, you sound great. You always, every one of your episodes, you sound to me like you just are totally in control and know exactly what you're doing. And it's weird, though, how you have conversations with people and they give you feedback on how you sound or how you come across to them. And it's always completely different than how you view yourself, and kind of what's going on inside your head at the moment. Is that something you find?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. When I was on radio, I had to do traffic reports every 10 minutes. all night long. It was like a full-time 40-hour-a-week thing. And so every 10 minutes, this sounder would go off. It'd be like, and I would panic. I'd go, I have to talk. And I have to talk smartly.
Oh.
Southbound I-5, there's an accident around Royal Brome Boulevard that's blocking 3 lanes. And, and I had to sound like I knew what I was doing. And I was so green. I had no clue. And for a while, people said, she sounds really green. But eventually I learned to fake it. And I kind of brought that over as a talent to the podcasting. Even though I'm terrified inside, I sound chill.
Talking about what we were just talking about with the atheist community. And, I feel like, especially on Facebook or online in general, it's been such a great resource for people coming out of faith or just people who've never been religious, kind of finding their people online and finding people they connect with. And yet at the same time, we're kind of dealing with these various crises with, like you were talking about with Michael Shermer and with David Silverman, all these people turning out to be just terrible and people kind of infighting with each other. And I kind of randomly am heartened by the atheist community I find online because there's so many good people, and at the same time just discouraged by some of the horrible people I find. I don't know. What do you think about how horrible or good atheist communities?
I think atheism online is a very positive thing. I think that atheism online is a lot like a lot of other things online. You see me in person, I'm an awkward, square, kind of odd guy, but online that doesn't come through. At least I hope it doesn't. If it comes through, sorry about that. But I think that a lot in the atheist movement, things are the same way. We kind of pulled back from the movement itself when we saw a lot of problems. When Deanna got concerned that the Whisper Network was saying one thing and the speakers' lecterns were still being filled with people that were in the Whisper Network. And we began to have problems with that, and we've seen those problems blow up. On the other hand, the online community, now, while there's plenty of arguing, we're going to do that anyway. It's like herding cats, everybody knows. But I think the atheist community online in a lot of areas is very positive. Right now, when we first started doing Living After Faith, we did it because there really wasn't a podcast or materials, resources at all for people who were coming out of religion. And through Living After Faith, we found some other people like the Recovering from Religion group and some others. But initially, we kind of felt like we were out there all alone. Well, now you go to Google or iTunes for an atheist podcast, and it fills up the list. There are tons of atheist podcasts out there, and whatever your bent is, you can find someone that's talking about that, someone that's educating you, someone that's bringing you the latest information. And I think it's going in a great direction. That's part of the reason we came back, is that we noticed the online community has really come on fire and stepped up in many ways where the quote organization, the organized atheism or whatever the movement has kind of dropped the ball. But it seems to me like online has picked it up.
The thing about online atheism that really kind of hit me was you have this dichotomy of really supportive, loving, understanding communities, people who have been there and left religions and support each other. But then there's also this other end of the spectrum where you've got...
And then there's Amy with a Y and I, right?
You guys are rebels, outliers, but in a good way.
Yep.
And then there's these bitches.
But I saw so many shitlords, dudes who were anti-feminist and wanted to spread a bunch of bullshit. There was a lot of dismissal of issues for people of color, people with disabilities, people in the queer community. And so it was like a hateful stew. But then there was also half the stew was a beautiful apple pie. It was delicious and wonderful. But you put the two together, you can't eat them. That's gross.
Well, that's one thing about atheism or the atheist community is we're not looking for leadership. We're not looking for hero worship or anything. So when the leaders fall or when there's, shit stew or whatever, you just step back and say, fine, I'll form my own community over here. You guys can do you over here, be disgusting. And we're going to go over here because we don't need to worship or be led by anybody because we're just going to make our own paths.
Yeah, that's been a good solution too. There's a lot of groups that are just kind of not involved with the rest of the movement except for occasional contact. And that seems to work better. When you have like a national organization, David Silverman did have a huge reputation and a lot of people hero worshipped him. And so when he was revealed to have done some things, then everybody starts defending him just because of the hero worship factor, not because they know anything about what he did.
Right. There's no way he could have done that.
I never saw him hit on anybody appropriately, so it never happened. Right. Yeah.
Oh, my favorite was he was in the house with my wife and he didn't hit on her. Dude, are you kidding me?
That says more about the wife that, no.
That's me.
No.
No, I do have something to add on that point.
To be fair, I've hit on his wife, but that's okay. It's cool. I hit on everybody. We're good.
I will be honest here, and I don't think I've ever said this publicly on a podcast, but I could tell the moment he walked into our apartment that he was a wolf, to put it gently. There's like a vibe you can catch from dudes that are on the prowl, you know what I mean? And I was really glad I had a broken leg because I couldn't fit in the closet. We were recording in the closet at the time. And so Rich just took him in the closet, stuck him in between our t-shirts and made the poor man talk.
And you couldn't have just left him in there?
We should have locked up the door.
Could have done us all a favor. Just locked him in there. And
sorry, guys. I didn't know. I mean, I knew, but I didn't know.
Yeah. I feel like part of the problem is, especially with, self-proclaimed skeptics, a lot of times they will, not just with the hero worship, but they worship the ideas that these people are coming out with more, and then tend to ignore the human aspect of them, if that makes any sense. So it's like, well, yeah, maybe Michael Shermer did that stuff, but look at all these great ideas he had, and that's all we should care about. And I kind of feel like, yeah, but you still have to care about somebody's, whether they're committing crimes or not, their integrity, their, just because they have good ideas.
You can take their ideas and separate them from the person.
Yeah. That doesn't mean you need to keep propping up that person.
Nope. Just be like, hey, keep producing things from prison. Fine.
Yeah, that works.
You could keep writing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lots of people write in prison.
Yeah.
Manifesto.
Amy with an eye does it all the time.
Yeah. Oh man, do you know how nice it would be if I was in prison?
You'd never have to cook.
Oh, you would. Your money troubles.
3 square meals a day. I get yard time.
No more chasing the kids around, trying to get them to clean up.
This fucking dog would stop tearing up everything in my house. How did I get full custody of the fucking dog?
But they don't have Tinder in prison.
Oh, that's true.
They have something similar. They have pen pals.
You would be all over the pen.
Polaroid dick pic.
Oh, old-fashioned.
Old school.
It would be a throwback. I would be like, and my wall would be just covered in various dicks. I don't know.
Dick eye.
Dick eye. Is it deek like meat? Like meat?
Yes.
Or, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
All the deeks.
A murder of dick pics.
A murder of
That's
dick
a plural.
pics. Yes.
So one thing I heard you, Rich, talking about on one of your most recent episodes that I had listened to, which I think was a speech from a couple of years ago, but it was very interesting. And one thing you said, I don't know if I had told you, just really stood out to me. You were talking about how, when you're talking about people in the atheist community or, this idea of hero worship, I feel like we kind of have another extreme in the movement, though, where sometimes it seems like people will just get thrown out at the drop of a hat. If anything, I've seen a few situations where something will come up and it feels like a person is just blacklisted from the community. Like, that's it. They did one thing. And I'm not talking about sexual harassment or assault or anything like that, but it's kind of this call out culture thing where they'll say the wrong thing and they're
like dog piles and
then they get dog piled on and they're suddenly everybody's enemy and there's no way for them to redeem themselves.
I just don't talk to anybody and I don't like anybody. It makes it so much easier.
It really does. Yeah. I'm wondering if that's anything you've noticed at all. And I'm not saying it's a bigger problem than the real problems of sexual harassment and that stuff. It's a smaller thing that I've noticed and that I worry about sometimes because, on our podcast, we say a lot of shit that could be misconstrued or we just, say words that are terrible.
I mean, maybe they'll just not talk to us anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, I worry that, we'll get on some list or something like these two.
I have already been on lists before.
I'm worried Amy with an I will drag me down onto that list with her.
It's fair. I've been on some shit lists before from Facebook.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of. What do you think about that? Is that anything you've seen,
or
is that?
Have seen that happen with several of my personal friends. There was when we first came out as atheists, and there was a lot of preachers coming out as atheists, and I've actually watched people make a mistake, and the entire movement just completely reject them to the point of a boot in the back. I mean, the shunning was just as strong as what I've seen in the religious community. And that was a bit of an eye-opener for me as well, because I began to realize that there were a lot of the same tendencies that I was seeing in the atheist movement that I'd seen from church, that there was a lot of hero worship, that there was a lot of shunning, and the gatekeepers were there to boot out anyone who does anything wrong. And yet, even with that, I saw that there tended to have things like misogyny involved with that. If a guy had done the same thing that a woman did, the woman gets hung up to dry, and the guy's okay, especially if he's a white dude, And I don't know, I just felt like it is. And
yeah, their lives are golden.
It was infuriating to see the inequity, especially under the guise of, we don't serve a God, so we can be equal. We understand that we're just a product of our DNA and our environment, so we can be equal. And then you look around and you see same thing. Some are more equal than others, and it just is a different package. And I think that was a little bit disheartening. I'm going to use 3 letters here that kind of describe what our show is all about and what we are about. And some people will love these letters and some will hate them, but it's SJW. We are social justice warriors. We scream for the social justice for our LGBTQ community, for people of color, for people with disabilities, for anyone that is othered. That has to be unothered. Until it's unothered, we're all others. I can't other someone else without making myself an other in the process. So, boy, I have drifted from your question, but
that is so unusual for this show. Don't do that.
Weird. We always stay right on topic.
Yeah, that's really rude. You're breaking our show down.
Well,
yeah, come on, Rich.
I've seen some things as well, and I think it's important to note that the people that seem to have gotten a lot of shunning, sometimes they said something really shitty, something kind of racist, sexist, something, homophobic or transphobic. And it wasn't the thing they said that was the problem. It was their reaction afterward. Like somebody...
The doubling down.
Yeah, the defensiveness.
Yeah, that's when it gets really shitty. Because it's like, just take the time to educate yourself or just listen
Right, if somebody said something shitty, and usually the call-outs are pretty gentle at first. And somebody says, hey, what you said was kind of racist, and here's why. And then the person responds with, well, I didn't say the N-word. What the hell are you people all freaking out about? God, you're such assholes. And SJWs are the worst. And so then they alienate everybody by their response because they're not willing to take a moment, be quiet for a minute, and just kind of go, well, did I hurt someone? Did I say something wrong? And they don't want to look at it and consider that.
I've changed a lot over the years in that way because, I'm social justicey and very liberal. But, over the past several years, as the entire culture has been learning more about privilege and what that is and, internal bias, I would have been one of the people to be like, but I'm not racist. What are you talking about? I mean, and it's taken me a few years of kind of self-reflection to think about that stuff and think about my own biases and how do I respond when someone tells me, oh, wait, that you probably shouldn't say that like that, or that hurt my feelings, or, and I've kind of had to teach myself to just sit with that and think about it. And,
yeah, absolutely. I used to.
Sorry, my son is distracting me with his lemonade that he finally got. He got a bottle of lemonade, which is lemonade. Lenin, like Russian Lenin.
Does it have a vodka in it?
And it says, its motto is putting a smile on your face. Where did you get that one from?
Lemonade in it.
Oh, it's the same one I got him last night, but he put new lemonade in. Okay, yeah. He found one online and wanted me to have it shipped to our house for $35 for one bottle.
Wow. It's like ginger ale lemonade.
And I was like, yeah, no. Unfortunately, I have a lot of good friends, and one of them found a bottle of it down in the Twin Cities and brought it back up here for us.
That's a lot
for
cheaper.
Undisclosed Minnesota location. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, well, I'm recording now, so go away. Goodbye. Yeah, just had to shoo my kids out of the room. That's how we do on this podcast.
Leave it in or
leave it in.
Okay.
It's fine. It's authentic. This is why women can't podcast.
This is
why
all of us can't podcast. When Rich and I do an episode, I usually do a little research and I kind of put out a few questions on like a Google document just to make sure I keep my ass on track, because otherwise my ass is all over the place. It's behind my back. Who knows what it's doing?
We tried having a Google Doc and it didn't work out. So
yeah, I can't find it.
No, Amy lost it somewhere. I don't know.
I lost it, but then I found it again, but it didn't have anything new in it.
Was there good news?
No, I said it didn't have anything new in it.
No kidding. Yeah. I was just asking if you'd heard the good news about Jesus.
Because I lost my dick pic.
Oh, God.
I've been looking for
Amy's dick pics are everywhere. Jeez.
I run out of storage space, so they're just kind of like...
Today's Patreon funding will go to a bigger hard drive.
For Amy's dick pics.
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Good
I
one.
wanted to touch back on what we were talking about a minute ago. I actually talked with my shrink a lot about my fears of saying the wrong thing and getting called out and being shunned and, getting piled on. And my fear came from both sides of the divide. I was afraid I would say something shitty and the SJWs would rightly kick me out of the club. And I was also afraid of saying things too feministy, too SJWE, and ending up with shitlords posting my information all over the internet and getting me swatted. This took up a lot of sessions. I was actually pretty afraid of both consequences. But I realized I could negate the consequences of the SJW fallout by just reflecting and going, did I say something wrong? Even if it wasn't wrong in my eyes, it could have been hurtful to other people. And so I should listen to them and not get defensive and not get angry at them for calling me out. And that really worked well. It subsided my fear a lot.
Yeah, that's good advice. And
that's the key is just listen.
Yeah, and for someone like me, and I'll just go ahead and speak for Amy with an I, we talk a lot, and I am the type of person who likes to get that last word in. So I've had to teach myself it's okay sometimes just to go, you know what, you're right, and not respond. Or, you know what, I'm going to think about that. Or that's a good point. Thank you. And I don't need to defend myself or keep rehashing this stupid debate that I'm having. I can just be like, you know what, I'm going to think about that. I just
let it go. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like, I'm going to think.
I say that a lot. I say fair. Okay. I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah. Like, yeah, there was a great, I shouldn't say great, but there was kind of an epic Facebook argument that got started on my personal Facebook page yesterday. I think it's still going, just rehashing the 2016 election, which was not my intent. But oh my God, all the Bernie bros jumped in, and it was just right back to the, I'm not sexist, I would have voted for Elizabeth Warren, and just the, oh God, and it was like, it hurt to just have to go back and be like, okay, listen, for the 400th time, nobody's telling you that you are a grade A sexist because you didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. That's not what anybody's saying. What people are talking about is the internal bias that we have as a culture, and that a lot of even progressives have, that they don't seem to want to recognize, and that they, you know, what we really wish is that more men especially would just reflect a little bit and be like, hey, maybe I do have some of these sexist tendencies that I haven't thought much about. And one of the guys who was arguing was like, okay, that's fine, but you're still trying to tell me why I voted, and I'm just never going to accept, and just had to keep arguing. And I'm thinking, you're proving the point right now. You're proving it. The argument is that, oh, it's still up. Yeah, like, we're just saying, could you reflect a little? Could you think about it? That's all. That's all. Nobody's attacking you. And he's just, well, you're trying to tell me I'm sexist, and I know I'm not, because you don't know what's going on inside my brain. And blah, 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 blah. Oh, my God. I'm a progressive. Elizabeth Warren, I would have voted for her. I
have a mother.
Yeah. Lots, every sexist that ever lived had a mother. Yeah. Every wife beater that ever lived had a mother. Yeah. Every, you know,
I mean, I live with 3 dudes.
But because we have a mother, we can't be sexist. Because, you know, we wouldn't want to be sexist.
Yeah. So, hey, we solved
sexism doesn't exist.
Finally.
Oh. Nice.
We did it just like Trump did the border crisis.
Oh my gosh, he is doing such a great job.
He really is.
It's not making me sick to my stomach at
Amy
all.
with an eye, give him a wink for me this weekend and tell him thanks for straightening that all out.
I don't know. He's gonna.
That was your influence, wasn't it, Amy?
I'm pretty sure. I'm like, you know what? You know who deserves to be just thrown in cages? Babies.
Yeah. You know what really turns me on? Toddlers getting ripped from their parents.
I have a serious question though. So from the election, what was the deal with that dude Benghazi? Like, why was he always like everywhere?
Oh, that guy was such an asshole. He called Hillary a shrill bitch.
Like he was causing,
and that's why we all hated him.
right. That Ben.
He was that dude that tried to rig the election for Hillary, right? Benghazi.
Right. Yeah, I think so. And he was like weaponized somehow.
Him and Bin Laden, they worked together to cause the 9/11 crisis.
Exactly.
They helped Hillary kill a whole bunch of Marines, is what I heard. Okay. Like, well, she personally killed them.
Were they good Marines or were they bad Marines?
Well, they're all good Marines.
And bad.
So this is America.
Bad Marines.
No, this is America. All the troops are perfect. I don't know if you've... if you're familiar with America, but that's how this works. Yes, anybody in authority is perfect and makes no bad decisions.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Based on sexism or racism.
That's right. As long as they tell me what to do, I'm down.
Oh my God.
I'm prepping for my date tonight. Sorry. Yes.
You're ruining the Living After Faith audience right now.
I'm sorry, guys. This is not typical. This is not how I am.
It's very typical. This is exactly
how she
is.
We've been ruining the Living After Faith audience a lot longer than you have.
Okay, yeah, I should go back to just being on Facebook while you guys are talking.
If I wasn't concerned about my bandwidth.
One of the things that I have, back to talking about the atheist movement, one thing that's really helped me is learning how to think before I speak and learning how to change the way I speak. You know, it's like pronouns. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not that hard a thing. Mm-hmm. You do have to think. But the people I know who use different pronouns than the pronouns I originally knew them by are worth my effort to think. They're worth that little bit of, I have to think a little bit. But once you think a little bit, it becomes natural. And, you know, I'm an old white guy. I thought, this is going to be so tough for me to change pronouns. And it really isn't. If you just think about the person that you're dealing with and you know that person is the person you love, then it's not a hard situation. to change your pronouns. Or, for example, we talked about different ways that we speak. I no longer use the B word. Now, I know you guys do, and that's fine. You can. I look at it just like the N word. I'm an old white dude. I have no business saying that. It's the same thing with the B word. I'm an old white dude. I have no business saying that. So, but it just takes a little bit of thought and a little bit of effort to say, I need to make my presentation such a way that it's not offensive to somebody else. And I can do that with a little bit of thought and a little bit of care. And yeah, I will make mistakes. And when I make mistakes, the important thing is to own up and say, I didn't realize how offensive that is. That was absolutely stupid for me to say that. And I will take that out of my vocabulary, and I will change the way I speak in an effort not to offend people. And I'm not the only one doing that. I see that a lot online right now, that people are making a genuine bona fide effort to not be offensive and to be inclusive. It's almost taken more than an inclusive. It's taking this, we're tired of othering and we're just going to all be us. And that encourages me.
Can I be an SJW for a second? Rich used the phrase chosen pronouns. And I only recently learned that chosen pronouns could further the idea that people are making some kind of a choice when they're announcing their transgender status, that kind of thing. And so I'm trying to get rid of what are your chosen pronouns and kind of
and just what
are your pronouns? Because if you think about it, it's what people are, is their gender, not a choice. Kind of like how our belief is not really a choice. It's kind of part of who we are.
That's good. I saw a conversation on Facebook, I'm sure. Maybe it was even on a podcast, I'm not sure, but somebody was talking about, using the term like male to female transgender or female to male transgender. And I thought that was just a utilitarian term. You're transgender. Are you a trans man or a trans woman? Are you, and it didn't occur to me till I saw this conversation that no, that's not the way you're supposed to frame it, because it's not that this person was a man and now they're a woman. They had always been a woman. So by using that female to male or male to female, you're kind of furthering that idea that they used to be something else that they're not now, when really they're just now becoming the person they were all along. Right. And yeah, I think language has a big ability to kind of change the way people see things. And if we can change our language, like you said, Rich, it's not hard to change your pronouns to, I've screwed up before with people, especially when using they, them, their, that just doesn't use that, but I still try to do it. And I've screwed it up, and I've apologized when I've screwed it up, and I've tried to correct it going forward. But when someone tells you who they are and how they want you to refer to them, it's not hard to, like you said, to make the effort, because they're worth the effort, Right. Making someone feel valued and loved, and why is that such a hard thing? And I think in America especially, we just have this culture of, don't tell me what to do. I'll do whatever the hell I want to do, and I can't, we're so proud of our individuality and
a bunch of liberal crybabies
that we don't want to change.
That sounds like my cousin's husband.
Oh yeah, that guy. Oof. Yuck.
Crybabies. I'm not gonna. I can say what I want. I'm like, yes, you can, but
yeah. But how are you helping humanity by doing that? By being yourself, not by by punching him in the face. You are helping humanity. I'm saying, as a person, how are you helping humanity by just sticking your feet in the mud and going, nope, I'm not going to change. There's nothing wrong with me. Things were good in the good old days. It used to be, parents used to anytime I hear anyone say something great about how it used to be, I just...
Oh, you mean when we owned people, or when
both.
women...
Both were pretty great, yeah.
Or both? Mm-hmm. Both were great again?
Or when we ripped children away from their parents because we felt like we had the right to. Oh, wait, we still do.
Good thing.
We're doing that now.
Oh, and we've been doing it for the whole history of our country.
Yeah.
Starting with Native Americans.
And Native Americans. Yeah, somebody pointed that out.
Actually, maybe I should say real Americans.
There you go.
Because the rest of us came in here and stole it from them. So we used to rip real Americans' children away from them, and probably still do.
And put them into religious boarding schools.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty awesome. Read up on that.
Kick all their personalities and their cultures out of them. Catholic education shoved into their little brains. Ooh,
yeah.
Awful shit.
America!
Fuck
yeah! We are patriots on this show.
Damn straight.
Oh, man.
It reminds me of what Al Franken, I think, said about liberals versus conservatives. I should preface this with a disclaimer that Al Franken had those allegations of bad behavior.
And
so I'm just sharing the idea.
If we talk about Al Franken. So you can say it,
right.
but I'm just going to sob in the corner over here and you tell the stories.
Okay. So what he said is something I repeat, often paraphrased, so I'm not using his words, is that liberals love America like adults love each other. They acknowledge each other's faults. They are realistic. They love and care for their country or their person, but they want to help it improve. They want to make it better. Conservatives love America like tiny children love mommy. Don't ever talk bad about mommy. Don't ever say she did something wrong. Mommy is perfect. Mommy is everything. It's kind of like a god in a way.
Yeah, I love that quote. I actually have the book that's in on my bookshelf. I can see it right now, but I bought it years and years ago before any of this happened. So don't hate me. It's still on my book. But I remember reading that for the first time and going, oh my God, that makes so much sense. It's like conservatives just, you say anything and you're just a terrible human being and America's perfect and shut up. I don't know what you're talking about. We're the best country ever. And it's like, no, I still love where I live, and I think patriotism's kind of bullshit, but I want this country to be better because I live here and people I care about live here and we all live here and it just should be better. So why is it so wrong to say, here's some things we're not doing well, let's see if we can improve that, instead of just, well, we're great the way we are, we don't need to change. And
I mean, we could.
That's true.
Make it great.
It was
again,
pretty great
though.
back when.
I mean, we can always
I would like to do that because I have a lot of household tasks that need to get done.
I have a lot of shit to do that I really don't want to pay
oh my God, you're going to heck.
I have dishes piling up, and my kids are. Someone's got to take them to the shower.
I did my dishes and I did my laundry, but that fucking dog.
You just need someone just to take care of that dog.
High maintenance,
dude. She's just I went from being a stay-home mom for 16 years to working full-time, and she
doesn't appreciate you changing on her.
So
it was kind of a dick move, though.
She's very
should have just stayed home with her.
She's 5, so for her entire life, I've been home with her.
Is she eating your couch?
Aside from she's not eating my couch, just any shred of paper or anything that she can get her little mouth on. She just shreds it all over the place.
Well, can't she just eat the cat and solve 2 problems at once for you?
I tell her to. I'm like, eat him. Eat him. I had to keep them separate because she eats his litter too.
Do you guys have any pets? I've never asked you that.
We have the best cat that ever catted.
His name is Boo Boo. He's scared of everything. He's a Russian blue, so he's got that
my favorite.
That's what I have too.
I used to have one. They are my favorite.
Yeah. He's a beefy motherfucker. This guy's like 16 and a half, maybe 17 pounds. Very food motivated, so he's probably going to get bigger. But yeah,
that's what mine is too. And he comes in the room just screaming at me. I'm like, you don't get to eat third dinner.
What about 11sies and breakfast and second breakfast?
Right?
Nothing wrong with Yeah, my cat Chappie is about 17 pounds now, but he just likes to get up in the 5 in the morning and just go knock shit off the counter to let us know he's hungry again. And so you can alternately hear myself or my husband just yelling through the house, "Quit being a dick! Chappie, knock it off. You're such a dick. Stop it.
Mine comes running into my room and bites me really hard.
Oh, yeah, he does that too.
Oh.
Usually he just knocks it down.
He's 4 months old. He's a baby. He's 4 months old, and he is an asshole. Mm-hmm. I have like little scratches all over my hands. It's really hard hoeing when you have scratches all over your hands because you have to explain why you're like a wreck.
That gardening work can really be rough on your hands.
Amy with an eye is a professional hoe, just catching people up who may not have listened to Secular Soup before.
Well, they really.
Yeah, I missed that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You missed? Yep. Did you miss my Tinder episode?
Oh, I did miss the Tinder.
Oh, there's a whole episode. You got to go back and listen to that.
You love the Tinder episode.
I am reading text messages from randos. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
we're gonna do a part. We're gonna do a part 2 because the messages just keep coming.
Yep, pretty much as long as you're on Tinder, you're gonna have material forever.
Email, basically all it takes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boo Boo can be a little bit of an asshole. I have a lot of little scratches on my hands, despite the fact that I trim his nails at least like once every 2 weeks. But when I come home from work, he meows at me. He rubs against my leg. He's all meh, 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 and he's really sweet. But then he rolls over on his back and he wants a belly rub for about a half a second. And then he bear traps me.
Oh, yeah.
And rips my arm up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the bear trap. My cat loves that one. He's just all fluff. So you kind of dig your hand in there for the belly rub, and then he just circles in on your whole arm. And my husband has
fall
that
for it every time.
Oh, mine does that too. Is that what they're doing?
That's what they do. Mm-hmm. That's a cat thing. Yeah,
jerks.
My husband's got that really tough dude skin. Like just really leathery. So he'll let the cat just gnaw on him and be fine. And then when the cat does it to me, my skin shreds like light tissue paper and I bleed everywhere.
Like lady skin.
Yeah, I've got that lady onion skin. So
that's what I have to. It's the old lady skin.
Yep. Already 41 and getting the old lady skin. It's pretty sad.
Mine's just sun damaged because I'm a redhead. I'm sure. I'm sure that's
and because of all the hoeing. It's bad
and
for
the alcohol probably doesn't help.
It's all bad for your
skin. No, you guys, I just pinched the skin on my arm and it wrinkles.
Oh,
I've got old lady skin too.
My favorite is when I pinch my knuckle and it stays up for a minute. I'm like, aw, I'm going to put lotion before I go hoeing.
How about you, Rich? How's your old lady skin? Do you have something to continue to this?
Was just checking it. I have a permanent farmer's tan because I grew up in Hickville in Texas, and the farmer's tan is just what you had, And so to this day, I can roll my sleeves up, and even though I haven't been out in the sun in probably 400 years, I still have a farmer's tan. So I've got the perma farmer's tan going for me. So if I ever need that, there it is.
Yeah, my job's pizza delivery, so I'm outside a lot and usually in a polo shirt or a t-shirt. So I've always got this little farmer's tan line, but only between spring and like late fall because we don't get any sunshine here in Seattle. I'm sure you guys probably understand. Amy's in Texas where it's all sun, and then Amy's in Minnesota where it's like no sun.
Miserable. Yeah. Like this is the one time a year in Minnesota where it's gorgeous. And I was just before we recorded sitting outside going, it's really sad that this is only going to last like 2 more weeks and then it'll be gone and it'll be winter again. Because in Minnesota, you wait all winter and then the summer's here and it's like you just try to soak up every minute of it and then it's just gone again and then it's freezing and then I bitch the whole rest of the winter. So, but now we get to listen to Amy with an eye complain about the heat all summer. So.
I don't go outside.
Oh, that's true.
I think it was my first experience of Texas when they were having a record heat wave, and it was a big drought. And that was when Rick Perry was governor, and he held that giant prayer rally trying to pray for rain.
Worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the first time I'd experienced that kind of heat because I'm a Seattle girl. Summer is like 72. And it was like 110 in
ridiculous.
Austin.
They're not in real numbers.
Oh my God, I know. That was awful. And I thought Austin was hot enough. And it was only a little humid, like pretty humid.
And then you went down to Houston or something?
Then we went to Marshall, Texas, right across the border from Louisiana. Yep. And it was like 100% humidity. Literally 100%. I didn't know that existed.
Oh, yep.
We went outside at midnight after we went karaokeing, and it's midnight. The temperature, I think, was 99, and it was 100% humidity. And she's like, "What is this on my face?" And I'm like, "That's water in the air."
Yeah, I remember I have a cousin who grew up in Florida. They had lived here when they were younger, and then their family moved to Florida. And a few years ago, she had told me, she's like, I grew up wondering why people buy skin lotion. Like, why is that a thing? Why would somebody need lotion to put on their skin? And then I came back to Minnesota and went, oh, that's right. Because your skin just wrinkles up like a lizard and you actually need to put moisture in it. It's...
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Arizona for a while. And it was like you had to sleep with humidifiers or your throat was always dry.
Ugh.
Oh, that sounds rough.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Well, now that we're talking about the weather, should we wrap this puppy up? It's been about an hour, I think.
Sure.
Do you guys have any final thoughts you want to, since we planned this episode so well and stayed on topic?
I actually do. I want to invite everyone to take and listen to a couple episodes of Secular Soup. And if you like what you're doing, and you like the ladies, I love them. Go on Patreon, find them on the Patreon, and give them some money. These ladies are doing a great job. They are spreading atheism. They're doing it as women in podcasting. We need more women in podcasting. One of the things Living After Faith did from the very beginning, we decided it was not going to be a sausage fest. It was not going to be a white fest. And we made sure that we had guests of color. We had women on, that we made sure that we did not have a majority of white men on our podcast. And that's just something, our core belief. We just did it. We didn't talk about it. We just did it. And I want to, thank you ladies for being women in podcasting, and urge our listeners to help them out, support them, and keep Secular Soup going, because it's a great podcast. And I love it. It's my favorite podcast that I listen to.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you that's awesome.
So sweet.
I agree with everything he said. They really need the money. So
we really do.
Throw it their
we
way.
need so
really
much money.
Yeah. And I'm only saying that because someday we're going to launch a Patreon and need money. So, I'm trying to put the karma out there.
And if we make more money, we could actually pay our editor an editing wage. So this works out well for all of us.
It's an advantage for everyone.
Yes.
Although I don't want a wage. I love working you guys' show, and I will do that for free as long as you let me.
I still feel bad because you still have to put up with our nonsense. So
your nonsense is amazing compared to some of the other podcasts Rich has edited before. He's much happier working on your show.
Wow.
Oh, it gets horrible. You guys are great.
Surprises me.
Yeah.
Well, for any, of your listeners that may not have heard our show, we also sell things. Amy and I both make horrible things out of creepy doll heads, and we write profanity on wine glasses and shit like that. So if you go to, we have an Etsy shop. So if you go to delightfulbitchcraft.com, that's our website where we have a link to our, not only the podcast and the Patreon and all that stuff, but to our Etsy shop, where you can find all the delightfully bitchy things that we've been making with our own two hands that we're also trying to sell. So I've been spending a lot of time doing that. It's funny, we now have mutual friends online that know we both do this, and they'll be like, hey, I need a mug right now that says this on it. One of you needs to make it. So I just made a mug for one of our friends the other day that had her own little slogan on it, and
Did you draw any dicks on it?
No, I drew a middle finger on it, but only the people who support us on Patreon at a $10 a month level get a soup bowl with a dick on it. So there are a few people out there with bowls with dicks, but I only put dicks on, there's kind of a science to it. So the more we don't like you, the more dicks come on your bowl.
So my sister's bowl is covered in dicks.
They're everywhere. That whole bowl is covered in them. She just,
she knows what she did.
Yeah, it's her own fault. So
she had to be born and knock me off the throne that I was sitting on.
Yeah, I sent one to our other favorite Rich, not you, but our other favorite patron Rich, who on his bowl I wrote his name and then I put the one who isn't our editor on it, and then I only put one dick on the bottom because I really like him. So
do I have the only one without a dick?
I don't have a dick.
That's how much I like you. I didn't put a dick on yours because I like you that much. So you're not the only one without a dick. No.
My bowl is dickless, but I put dicks in it.
Oh my God. No, so unfortunately, the dick idea didn't come up until we decided to make bowls for cognitive dissonance because we're having a pod feud with them.
They didn't even say thank you, though.
They didn't. They got their bowls. They didn't even say thank you. But I drew dicks on theirs, and then it turned into a thing where other podcasters were requesting dicks on their own bowls. So then it took on a life of its own. It's terrible.
Bunch of not sadistic, masochistic podcasters.
Pretty much, yeah. Now they're all competing to see who can get the most dicks on the bowl. More.
Everybody wants to be in a feud with us too. We're like, dude, we're exhausted. We hate everybody already.
We feud with everybody. It's
you're
so
all
tired.
Suck so much. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we need a feud, honey. That's a good
really
way to get well known
exactly.
again. Yeah.
I was thinking we could start the thing with Shermer and the thing with
Don't do cognitive dissonance though.
Dogma debate.
Please. That's
David Smalley.
Punching down.
Well, maybe I'll ask the guys on the nonprofits if I can feud with them. Or do you have to ask? Or should I just go, I hate those guys?
We didn't ask. We just politely informed.
Yeah, we were like, by the way, we're feuding with you. Yeah. And they were like, okay. But they don't fight back.
No, it's not fair. I sent them both a message and said, hey, just so you know, we're fun feuding with you. And they were like, cool. And then they don't even participate. Bastards.
Yeah, we even recorded something that was played at their 400th episode, and they just didn't even respond to it.
No. They're terrible feuders. I'm telling you.
You need a new enemy.
I know. We're making new ones every day. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm sure we are. Especially with me on Tinder.
Yeah. So I just really want to thank you two for coming on this show. You really are amazing. Your voices are important to a lot of people, and we talk to a lot of people that say, oh my God, Rich is your editor. I love Living After Faith. I miss it, and they're so glad it's back.
Yeah. Our sex episode, Nicole gave you a shout out.
Oh, yeah.
You were someone who really influenced her when she was going through her loss of faith.
Yes.
I heard that, and I was so excited. I was like, somebody knows who we are.
Oh, she was genuinely excited before we got on air.
Really, she was like,
geeking out.
I need to say something at the end, and so she had to say something.
Yep. So
if you do go on that feud, she has connections to that, so you can use that.
She could get you in all those feuds. It's good to know people.
There you go. Hey, Nicole, you're awesome. We want to have you on our show someday.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Right on.
So anybody who is listening to Secular Soup right now needs to head over and check over Living After Faith with Rich and Deanna Joy Lyons. It is fantastic. And anybody who is listening to Living After Faith should come and listen to Secular Soup. Check us out. We're terrible people.
Strongly recommended.
Yes.
50% of us are terrible people.
Yes. Only 50%. We're not going to tell you which ones. The one thing I forgot to do last week, because we were so caught up in our Dumb All Over crossover, is thank our patrons. So I actually pulled my list up here and got a little bit prepared so that I can thank our wonderful patrons. As always, we have the wonderful Maddie Love of the Atheist Talk podcast, who is just one of my favorite people. I love her so much.
She's just the greatest.
She really is.
We love Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie's the bomb. The By Any Means podcast with Trav, who is also fantastic. We have
they're great.
They are great.
Trav is awesome.
Yep. Wendy O'Connor, also awesome. All of these people are awesome, it goes without saying, but encyclopediadumbamerica.com. I never know if I should read last names or not.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, Jesse is one of our newer patrons, as is Jake. Jake is a brand new patron. Thank you so much, Jake.
Nice.
And then we've got our $2 patrons. Nathan.
Send us your address and we'll send you things.
Maybe. Probably dick pics.
I don't need your address. I already know where you live.
Nathan Dickey from the Leap of Doubt podcast is a patron.
Yep,
he's awesome.
Good people.
Dr. Dylan.
I like Nathan. That's another podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, his podcast is good. Especially the episode I was on.
The one I was on was better, so.
Was it? I didn't listen.
I just picked him up as a client.
Oh, no, we've both have an episode with him separately.
You should go back.
Yeah,
I'll go back and listen.
I think
it was like 7.
Yeah, I think Amy was like 5 and then I was 7 maybe. Yeah. They're interesting. Anyway, Dr. Dylan, my favorite doctor who wears bow ties but saves some of his bow tie money to give to us.
He does.
Kimberly and Rebecca, you are also both awesome. Mr. Larry Yellingman at the $4 level of the Manuals at News podcast.
Manuals at News
also
pod.
funny people.
Yeah.
And then this week we had Dwayne, one of our regular Patreons, increase his pledge to $10 a month so that I'm assuming he can get a dick bowl. So Dwayne's going to have to wait and see how many dicks I'm going to draw on that bowl. I haven't decided yet.
She's going to go back and she's going to Facebook stalk you.
Yep.
She's going to hunt down your relatives.
Oh, you know what? Wait, I could be wrong. Don't quote me. No, it says 10. That's weird. It says 10, but it put him in the $5 category. I don't know. This is a software issue that has nothing to do with people listening.
Maybe
Jerry, at some point, one of our favorite people, also increased her pledge, I think. Maybe. Don't quote me on anything I'm saying right now. Jerry, Dwayne, and Alan, you are all awesome.
It's literally recorded.
It's past my bedtime.
It's 7:05.
Rich,
guys.
our other
7:05 in the PM.
Our other favorite, Rich, who is a $10 Patreon, got his bowl with the one dick on it because I like him so much. Alice at the Ask and Tell Project, whose bowl I did not put a dick on. I put Ask and Tell Project on the bottom because I thought that would be cool. And Amy's boring sister, who has all the dicks hoarded on her bowl.
All the dicks.
And then our number one patron, Ashley, also a doctor, also fantastic. We love you, Ashley. Thank you so much for continuing your support. So, Amy with an I, did you happen to pull up your Google Doc so you could read our outro, or are you prepared here?
I did.
Thank you again, Rich and Deanna Joy.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We've had such a great time.
Thank you.
You guys are fun. And that's all we've got for now. Thanks to our fabulous listeners who put up with us droning on week after week. If you enjoy our delightful bitchcraft, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and send us all your monies on Patreon. You can find us on those platforms by using the Google machine. It's not hard. This week, your donations will go to Powerball tickets.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Because we'll
share with you guys.
Style.
All right.
If you want to
promise,
if you want to tell the world how to fuck off, or damn it,
Amy has trouble with this. It's real hard.
If you want to tell the world how awful this episode was, join our Secret Soup Talk Facebook group. If you want to tell us to fuck off personally, you can send an email to secularsouppodcast@gmail.com. Please rate and review us on iTunes, Facebook, and wherever else you can review things like this. It will help us spread the soup gospel far and wide. And hey, tell your friends. As always, we'll leave you with the vocal stylings of Mr. Eli Bosnick.
Secular soup creed. Soup is the ultimate virtue. It's delicious, nutritious, patriarchy smashing, racism fighting, warm and fuzzy, human affirming, fun having, anti-theist, glitter throwing, tummy satisfying, pair of new shoes fulfilling, diversity seeking, happiness. Minestrone, beef and barley, chicken broth and split pea, gazpacho, tomato, clam chowder and potato, chicken noodle, beef noodle, egg drop and ramen cup, miso, gumbo, leek and pho. Grab a bowl and taste the magic. Slurp even this.